This series of bonus podcast episodes were taken from my 9-hour live stream on the 15th of April 2020. I interviewed 16 speakers back to back whilst on lockdown from the coronavirus pandemic, and I thought I would edit them just for you. Hope you enjoy and stay safe, my friends. Right, Crimsy, I'm booting you out, sister.
See you later, Grant. Have a good day.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Try.
Hey, bud.
Hey, wow, she can talk, can't she?
Underwater? Well, actually, that's coming from you.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Yeah, for someone who wants to be calm and take the silence, wow. That girl talks. Yeah, she talks a lot of sense as well.
She does indeed. And when she comes on our little Carpaway meets, I just sit back and listen because she's just amazing. That's why I wanted to bring her here today. And you know what it is? We've got such a mix of people and backgrounds and journeys, and then you rock in because you've been around the globe. So let where we're going to start, Grant. Where you been? What have you been doing?
I think a nice little segue might be to talk about Carpway, and talk about Sarah. I already knew Sarah before we went on one of your lovely walks, and actually she was sort of the protagonist to me changing the way that I do things and my outlook, and actually joining xe.com. So I'm going to give you a chance to have a little speak because you've been sitting and listening and pointing people around and giving them direction. Why don't you tell everybody about Carpway and what it's about and the feedback that you get from those who go along?
Okay, that's a good question. So Carpaway, the name anyway is Seize the Way, like Carpe Diem. So Seize the Way, carpaway.com. And really it was Paul Slater, Carl Buckley and I have always had this I've been talking about hugging trees, Grant, today, right?
You have.
We've hugged a lot of trees in this last few years together. And what we said was, wouldn't it be great just to get people out in nature and just reset and just talk? Because that's where we saw a lot of value, is just having conversation. So I think it was about a year and a half ago, maybe, I just said, look, I put something on Eventbrite. I said, look, we're gonna meet at 10 o'clock in the morning, one random Thursday. Oh, we're walking up Rosebery Topping. You came along. It was our first one. And we just said, let's go for it and let's see what happens. And it was a lovely sunny day. And I think we did about 6 or 7 miles or something like that. But
12 miles.
12 miles. Well, it always starts at we'll do 6. It always gets longer. But what came out of that was some absolutely fantastic conversation that we knew would happen, because we're getting like-minded people in nature talking side by side about life, challenges, children, families, careers, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's just so valuable, because when you're talking to people face to face, you kind of often look at each other in the eye. And sometimes when there's such a heartfelt situation or challenge, you're kind of looking around and you kind of really, look at that person. But side by side, you're kind of equals and you're walking together, and there's no hierarchy, there's no boss, no, student or nothing. You're just walking together as equals and sharing challenges and sharing nature together. And literally, after 6 hours of being together, the trust that you've gained, you end up sharing some of the most deepest, intimate things with quite often strangers. Yeah. So it's really like a beautiful club of like-minded people helping each other. And there's our Katie there. We went axe throwing it in December because of the winter, and we had a great time axe throwing, and we broke bread together. We had lunch, and it was just beautiful. So I hope that summarized it.
Yeah, it does. No, absolutely perfectly. The gloves are off, aren't they? You're not in your normal work environment, whether you're working on your own or in a larger group, and you're able to share kind of, your innermost thoughts about what's going on, and often having that different perspective from someone who's outside of your industry, who is just another human. And you're spilling out your thoughts that you get. Actually, the way they're thinking about it is probably the right way. And I've been caught up in you get caught up in the day-to-day, don't you, and the processes and the operational piece and whatever. But actually, when you've got a bigger problem and you need someone else to solve it, and yeah, it's a great thing. So yeah, look, we're not here to promote Cartway, but at the same time, I think it's worth me mentioning because it changed my perspective on things. So
I think what happens a lot of the time is we're so close to the current situation that we kind of get blinded with our personal views and how we feel about how it's going to affect us, how our affections and problems and everything, and then suddenly someone from the external world just goes, "Nah, mate, that's not right. Have you not thought about it from this point of view?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm too close to it." And so yeah, it's a fresh set of eyes on a problem, isn't it?
absolutely. So do you want to hear a little bit about me? I love talking about myself.
I know you do it, and honestly, my WhatsApp is like it's just blew up since I met you because it's just you. I mean, do you want to see do you want to see another photograph of me? Come on, where you been? What you been doing?
Well, look, I mean, I'll just give a sort of a little insight to me, and I want to talk a lot about collaboration in the Northeast. I think that's that's my big message, and sort of my big output from anything that I do. So,
Okay.
I'm from the Northeast. One half of my family is from sort of Sunderland, Washington Way. The other half is from Heaton in Newcastle. Yeah, sort of spent a lot of time on Sunderland Road, in Gateshead, and the rest of my time up in Newcastle. And then at 14, 15, I spent some time at Durham School, and then my dad took me down to Essex, and hence my moniker Boomerang Geordie. I have all of my life gone backwards and forwards, whether it's lived in Abu Dhabi as a kid and moved down to Essex, lived in London, moved to Australia, in Singapore and New York with my wife, and all sorts of bits and bobs. But I've always been fiercely proud of being from the Northeast. Fiercely proud. I mean, the extent that we had a football team down in Sydney called Toon Down Under, and I've always sort of banged the drum for the Northeast. And I think that feeling when I've come back properly about 18 months ago, and seen over that time as I've gone backwards and forwards how much the city's changed, the area's changed. I worked quite a bit in Stockton when I was at Santander. So kind of all over the Northeast, all of the Northeast, very, very important to me. And I think it's important that we shout our message out to everybody across the UK, across Europe, across the world, because do you know what? We've got a really strong identity as a group of people. I mean, typically we're known as Geordies. I know people from Sunderland get regularly asked when they're overseas on holiday or whatever, "Oh, are you a Geordie?" Well, no, I'm from Sunderland, but we're all from the Northeast, aren't we? So
I'm a sand dancer.
You are a sand dancer, and you lot love each other, don't you? You like that. It's a proper little club, you sand dancers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, and we really do have an identity. And I've heard in a couple of things recently, that an outsider's view of us is X, that we're all still hanging out, washing on the line, and all of that sort of stuff. And I don't think that's actually true. I think people realise that we're a great innovative area, whether it was back in the day building ships and coal and whatever it happened to be. We've actually now sort of pivoted around that and now very strong in the digital financial tech sector, and we've got really strong professional services, education, and we've got a really strong leadership in our councils as well. So I think that's something that we need to project more, and I'm really keen to do that. And why I brought the business that I work for, xe.com, which is a massive Fortune 500 US company, into the Northeast, because I knew there was opportunity there for us to do something and collaborate and help the region, whether that's in manufacturing, creatives, whatever it happens to be. I think it's our job, and all of the people who are speaking on here, and all of the people who'll be watching and listening. It's our job as a collective to work together. What harm is ever done by working together?
It's interesting what Richard was talking about there was letting people know. in terms of commenting or send them an email or giving them a review. So if they've done some really good work, let them know. So that collaboration piece and that kind of helping each other through, especially this situation we're now, is absolutely perfect. And I think it's something we do very well as a region. And maybe that's kind of message to the world as well, to look internally, maybe at your own network. And I started this whole day with your network is your net worth. And, I've got 16 friends speaking today.
Yeah.
It's about nurturing that network and not tapping it when you need it, which I sometimes see. And I don't want to get too negative, but I think you and I have spoken in the past of, people who, you might hear from 2 years and then suddenly you get an email from them. That's not the way it works. This is something you nurture and you take care of and you give, and then there comes a time when actually you receive.
Yeah, absolutely, and that give piece, Ian, is really strong for me, and I'm not embarrassed to admit, but I would say when I was younger and working in financial services, it was much more about, right, okay, what can we bring in. And now when I approach it, I'm always thinking, how can I help you? Who can I connect you to? Or how can I promote my region outwardly? So my head office is, I've got two head offices down in London and in Bracknell. I'm always trying to think of ways of how can I, and you've experienced this. I know I've connected you with a few people to try and say, look, we've got these services, we've got these people. We're doing stuff up here. We don't need to be necessarily bringing it in from London or Amsterdam or Spain or what. Actually, we've got stuff that we can take out as a region, and championing the region is, I think, it's really very, very important. And as we grow, just working together, man, that is absolutely got to be the way forward.
It's interesting. I know Michael put something on earlier on about his free day initiative. So this hashtag free day, I know quite a few people have jumped on it on LinkedIn in terms of giving their services or their products for free on that particular day. There's lots of sign-ups on that. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and Michael, I met very early in this journey when I deliberately made myself a bit uncomfortable coming into the digital and tech sector, going along first of all to Founders Friday, one of Paul Lancaster's fabulous monthly events where people from sort of all walks of life go along, and I met Michael there, and I was when I first met him, I was very much like, what's this guy all about, and looked him up, and he's a fantastic character and very helpful, and actually very early on he spotted it, as did Sarah, who was very much like, I'm not sure you're doing quite the right thing at the right place at the moment, and that resonated. It must have been very, very obvious. So yeah, I would encourage people to go and do that with Michael, because he's a very helpful guy. But yeah, I mean, just touching on sort of Paul and how he helps the region. He's a great collaborator, bringing everybody together, giving people the open forum to talk about not just about their business, but about themselves, and giving that trust. Where there could be other, I don't know, networking events or whatever that have a very specific focus, very industry specific focus, which are great. They're great in their different spectrums. But the thing that Paul does, and with Startup Scale Up Week, you're giving everybody that opportunity. That's where we first met, wasn't it? You were doing a podcast there, and we were straight on and straight into it, and having a bit of crack and a bit of a laugh. And since then, your WhatsApp's just been lighting up every day. Can't shake me off. But yeah, there needs to be more of that, and I think the more of us that kind of join together I keep saying this, but I genuinely think that is the way forward. And that's, everyone from, some great people that I've met along the way, Dawn Dunn at Dynamo, Angus Kidd, Lucy Carlin and Karen and Laura at Sintons, James Thwaites at FinTech North, Colin Tan at Tuspark, Karen Elliott at University, Jen Hartley and Kelly and Kira at Invest Newcastle, yourself, the list goes on and on and on of people who are trying to collaborate within their own roles to make things a lot better for the region. I should have let you talk for a second.
No, it's fine. I mean, thanks very much for including me in that list, and obviously right at the bottom. Suki put something there which is great, and it is working together is the future. And I think this position we're in now has highlighted that even more, because we are really starting to help each other and point each other in directions and collaborate and give each other leads or introduce us to people. And hopefully, this day to day, 16 speakers, hundreds of people will watch this, and we'll chop it up into podcast episodes, later on, and hopefully that's going to give a little bit to people, a little bit of value, in a time when it's needed, And Suki's right, working together is the future, and I love the fact that as a nation and as a global movement, I think we are trying to really help each other a bit more. I think we've had a real reset.
And I think we need to give our knowledge and share our knowledge. There's a lot of people around in my industry who charge for their knowledge. I put out a daily release on LinkedIn. Very broad overview. I'm restricted by the amount of characters I can put in LinkedIn, and try and have some sort of hook. Try and keep everybody interested on something that could be quite an anodyne topic, but actually. Quite often people are scared to ask the questions around something very specific, like financial markets, currencies, commodities, equities, whatever it happens to be, and how you navigate yourself around those. That's what I do. That's what I do for a living. That's what I've done all of my career, the last 25 years. And was my intention to bring that bit of knowledge that I've taken from the different places that I've worked back into the Northeast to be able to help Northeast businesses, individuals, and that is across absolutely every sector, demystify the smoke and mirrors that kind of goes on sometimes around the financial markets. And that's why I try and give in the morning. I go and do the research. I'll go and put my thoughts down. I'll have a view on it. I'll try and make it a little bit catchy, so that people can start their day and go, okay, that's something that I've learned, but also to kind of open myself up and try and be authentic. And you get to learn about people, don't you? If you put your character into it. I saw Stephen Bartlett speak at Startup Scale Up Day 1 last year, and stuff that he said really resonated with me. Was in this day and age, what people crave is authenticity. And I think for some generations, it's quite difficult to open up and kind of lay yourself bare. This is me. This is who I am. I'm not a bloke sat behind a suit and 3 screens and a telephone. I'm just a normal bloke who's got the same issues that you have. 3 children in the house who are driving me absolute crackers. All of that sort of stuff. So. And the power. What he said was the power of social media is the best free advertising tool that you've got. But when you go on there, make sure it's meaningful. Make sure the content is original and it's authentic. So I'd encourage anyone in any industry to go out and do that. You don't have to give the crown jewels about what you do. Obviously, we all need to make a living and have our area of expertise. But a little snapshot of what we do is a good thing.
I totally agree. I think we are in the world of authenticity and transparency. And if anyone's heard me speak, I will use those 2 words. And what I normally follow that up with, that's not a dirty word anymore. It's just an overused term by marketers. It's still true. We still need to be that, especially on social. I mean, for me on social, you've probably seen some of the stuff. My heart's on my sleeve, and I did a podcast episode last week, and I've never had so many messages of support.
I haven't listened to that. What do you say on that?
I just basically just let it out because I had a bit of a time in hospital. Obviously, this Corona thing's hit, and I just everything's gone up in the air, and I recorded it in my car with an audio recorder. A policeman come down the side of us and put a window down. He's like, "What are you doing in the car park?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a journalist. I'm just recording something." I was having a bit of a bad time. And I just caught it off the hoof, and it was me. And I think I know I'm a big fan of Brené Brown, and I'm sure a lot of listeners are. And what Brené talks about is this dropping your armor and showing your vulnerabilities. And I think it's really, it really helps people connect with you on a spiritual plane and a personal plane by just showing that who you are. And I think it's a great filter. We often hear people work with people, but actually you probably heard people work with people they know, like, and trust. And social media and sharing stuff is a great way to get that know, like, and trust factor out there.
Yeah.
And if people don't resonate with you, then they don't. Not everybody's for everybody. And I think it's a great filter, because if you show yourself bare, and this is who I am, if there's not a fit, then you just don't work together. So I think it is a great filter, just being yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I speak to yourself when I consider you as an absolute mentor for what I'm doing, because you've guided me in the right direction when I've had a few sort of negative thoughts. Crims was there at the start, pointing me in the right direction. I speak to Paul a lot about different things, and I think once you've built that trust, you're able to find the answers a lot quicker. I would encourage more people to get closer to a group, and if there's other groups around the Northeast that I'm not aware of, that you're aware of, some sort of cross-pollination within those to build that spectrum of people that are there with different skills, and then and then the business. That's when the magic happens, though, isn't it? That's when the business starts to come. I can say, look, okay, actually, if you need a great podcaster, speaker, motivator, I'm going to pass you to.
I was waiting for it.
I'm gonna pass you to Ian. If you need a great brand designer, someone who knows a lot about the clothing industry, I'm gonna pass you to Michael. If you need direction on how to start up and scale your business and connect into the digital ecosystem, I'm gonna pass you to Paul Lancaster. And by the way, these are not just words. I do this. I do this on a regular basis. We're really lucky to have the incubator that's Tuss Park at the bottom of Granger Street there. And I'll often go in there to do a day's work. I'll take my laptop in and think I'm going to open my laptop and tap away. And before I've known it, I've had 5-6 meetings with different people and spinning them into other guys that are sitting around. Robert Cooper, who sits next to me, who came from UNW, is now at Aero Commerce. James Thwaites, Julian Plumley, guys at Barclays. It just the magic happens because you've got that network set up. Oh, what's Siggy saying that of the article in the Northeast Times? Oh God, yeah.
Hang on a minute. Oh God, yeah. Has that Northeast Times? Is it out now? Is it out?
It's out. I'm not sure I've had a copy through the front door yet, but
so it's been printed. It's out there digitally on the
It is.
Do we want to tell everybody who's on the front cover of this? Is it monthly? Is it a monthly publication?
Yes.
In Northeast now?
Yeah.
So we've had people like Rafa Benitez on the front cover. Who else have we had in it?
There's some bloke called Sir John Hall. I think Sir Alan Shearer was on there.
And this month,
Gorgeous George from Amazing Spaces.
And this month on the front cover.
Hey, some ugly Geordie bloke on the front page. I don't know how the hell he's managed to end up on there, but he has somehow. I think they were very. Hey, look, it's been a really short news month. I think they intended the North East Times to do a lot more interviews. But I think I must have been the only interview that they've done. They're like, oh shit, you didn't even take any pictures off.
I tell you what, man, I was so proud, right? I mean, you mentioned me in that article as well, and I really thank you for that. But I tell you what, I was so proud when I saw the front cover. No, thanks, man. But I was so proud when I saw the front cover. It's absolutely amazing, and then Michael's link to it there. Thanks so much, Michael. I felt for the photographer, because that was probably it probably took him a good few hours to get that shot.
We were there,
well done.
We were there for 6 hours. He didn't have a lot to work with, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
I sent it to one of my clients, and he replied, and he said, "What's the bloke off the Pet Shop Boys doing on the front page?"
You're a handsome devil.
I'm very, very humbled. And as it says in the article, I don't know, my grandma was Lord Mayor of Newcastle in 1979, 1980, and I think that's just kind of deep rooted in me somewhere, and me coming back, that I actually just really want to do something great for the region. I don't know what that is. I think just being in the moment is enough. But yeah, it runs very strongly. But I think that's because I've gone out of the region and come back, gone out, come back, gone out, come back. Understand, if you live in the region, you stayed in the region the whole time. Obviously, you've got a huge connection with a sense of place. But for me, it's about a sense of identity. It's identity going away. It's like, who's this bloke with a slightly funny voice? And I found myself adjusting my voice as well, places I've gone to kind of fit in and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
it's interesting. We talked about being kind of authentic and transparent. I think that I really do encourage people to read the article, because it really is a great read, and you are literally bearing all. And it's a really, really good story. I just pick up. Sorry, go on.
I showed it to my mum, and when the edit of the article had been sent to me, I said that there's a bit of an uncovering going on here, Mum. You're gonna have to read it. Don't be shocked. And she said, "Christ," she said, "I brought you up. Nothing shocks me." And of course, she reads through there, and she go, I used to tell her that I was going, and I used to play a lot of rugby, and I'd play twice a week and play on a Sunday. But I managed to fit in that I was playing on a Saturday as well. I was playing that much. Oh yeah, the Chelmsford men's team that they're asking us to play on a Saturday afternoon. And I used to go to the train station and take my kit in. And then I'd go to the match. I'd go and watch Newcastle play in, I don't know, Bournemouth or Southampton or Ipswich or wherever. And then come home and get my kit out and look the left luggage. But that was because I wanted to be with Geordies. I was down south, and I had that sense that I wanted to be with. Well, this does sound a bit glib and a bit cheesy, but with my people, and the crack and the humour and whatever. So yeah, I'm pleased to be back. I'm pleased to be able to make a difference in the business world. To be perfectly honest, it is, Suki. It is a very special place. I agree. Totally.
It's interesting. David just says there, living away from the northeast, that resonates with him. And David started a kind of a new life really in the northwest. David's my Besser. And I'm missing Michael, but it's funny when I go down and see David, he's started a new life in the northwest, and we'll walk around the pubs and the parks, and he'll be saying hello to people, and I'll be like, "Who's that? I don't know these people." And sometimes I'm quite envious of like starting again in another place. Have you found that where you actually went, you've known nobody, and then created a network?
Yeah, I have, and you get on with it, and it actually develops a huge amount of resilience. I mean, let's face it, a hell of a lot of people in the northeast will, for whatever reason, across the times, have gone and found work elsewhere, gone away. I think what you start to see is more and more people coming back. as there's an equilibrium between sort of work-life balance and the amount of money that you need and this sort of thing. I mean, one of the great ones I used to hear an awful lot down south was, "Oh, you're from Newcastle." I went to university in Newcastle or Sunderland or Teesside. All right, okay, where did you live? And they tell me, and I'm like, what did you make of it? Oh, we loved it. Absolutely loved the place, loved the people. And I'd be like, so what the hell are you doing back down here then? Why don't you stay up there? And that is one of the things that I suppose that is the ultimate thing for us in the region is, why do people go away and then come back, or come and study here and then go away and peddle their wares elsewhere? Mind you, I've done it, so I'm guilty, but there we go.
Well, that's a nice little segue, because you mentioned, was it your grandmother who was the mayor?
Yeah, she was Labour Lord Mayor of Newcastle in 1979. Fierce woman, my grandmother, suffragette. She famously turned down the the ministerial car thing that they used to have. She wouldn't go around in that, and real stalwart. So I've got a bit of her in me.
Well, I tell you what, that's a nice segue into another fierce Labour woman. Here she comes, ELB in the house.
Hiya.
So, listen, Grant, before you go, did you put that Newcastle United strip up on the mirror for me at the background there?
Oh no, that's there in the lounge all the time. My wife loves it being there. Wait, yeah. Of course I put it there for you.
Right, listen, that's you getting booted out. Thank you so much, my friend. See you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Good luck. See you later.
In the green room, there he is there.
Hiya.
Oh, we can't hear him. You see, Grant, this is why we...
Hello.
Ah, you see, he's muted himself because he's probably been singing in his pajamas. He's not wearing any clothes under that as well. He's
on my pajamas.
All right, I wonder if... Right.
Hello, lovely people.
I know. I wonder, do you think I can move in the light somewhere better? I wonder if I move along a little bit.
No, you're good in the dark, mate.
Thanks, brother.
I think because it was too bright. I'll open it now. There we go. I've got like a bright light shining on me.
I wonder if I can get a bit brighter. There's a light.
Beautiful thing.
You see the light shining on top rather than underneath. Where's my lighting? The makeup artist's not here either. This is not good enough.
What's going on with this?
Oh man, it's fine, man. Stop griefing us.
Mine's coming on quite well.